Further debate. The member from Flamborough-Glanbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is a pleasure to speak today in support of Bill 68, the Comprehensive Ontario Police Services Act 2019. This piece of legislation is key to our government's commitment to make Ontario a safer place to live, to work, and to raise a family. And that means standing up for victims and holding criminals to account for their actions. It also means effective policing, which is the point of our discussion today. The Comprehensive Ontario Police Services Act takes a number of steps to instill better confidence in our police, reversing one of the most egregious pieces of policing legislation put in place by the previous government. Under the Comprehensive Ontario Police Services Act 2019, our government is seeking to create a new oversight structure intended to provide our hard-working and dedicated police officers with a fairer disciplinary process and strengthen public confidence in our police force through more transparency and new training requirements. In 2018, just months before the last election, the previous Liberal government passed Bill 175, the Safer Ontario Act. Simply put, Mr. Speaker, this was an anti-police bill. In fact, many have said that this was the most anti-police legislation in Canadian history. The integrity of our men and women in blue was not protected under this bill. If passed, Bill 68 will ensure that our policing community has the support and the confidence of the public and the government for years to come. This act would undo the harm caused by Bill 175, specifically by repealing and replacing the Police Services Act 2018 and Ontario Special Investigations Unit Act 2018. Bill 68 will also repeal the Ontario Policing Discipline Tribunal Act 2018 and Policing Oversight Act 2018. Finally, it will also amend the Coroners Act and Mandatory Blood Testing Act. As the Minister of Community Safety and Correctional Services has stated before, by making these changes, our government is clearing the path to develop better and stronger policing legislation and oversight that works for both our officers as well as the public they serve. Last year, I had a chance to meet with Hamilton representatives of the Police Association of Ontario during their Advocacy Day here at Queen's Park. If there was one thing that they emphasized more than any others, it was that our government show that we really do mean it when we say we support our police officers by making changes to the Safer Ontario Act. They hope to see changes that reflect the vital work police officers do and the nature of their professionalism, rather than negative perceptions of what they do. We are all grateful to our police officers for the work they do every single day, keeping our streets and our communities safe. And we are all more than happy to express this opinion when we meet with these officers. Mr. Speaker, having said that, these words are empty if governments implement policies that hinder the force and make them feel like they're being targeted for simply doing their jobs. The Hamilton officers I met with brought forward some of their concerns with parts of Bill 175, which they and the Police Association of Ontario felt had not taken into consideration the perspective of experts in policing policy. These included making it easier for police services to terminate disabled or injured members, having a disciplinary system without any due process for officers, mandatory privatization of certain police services to for-profit companies, and an oversight system that is not accountable to either the public or to the police. I also heard from PAO members that the Safer Ontario Act made policing more expensive, less responsive to the communities they serve, and out of date for the 21st century. It is clear that the policies of the previous Liberal government left our police services hanging out to dry. Our government led a thorough review of the Safer Ontario Act and has identified problems that need to be addressed. If passed, the Comprehensive Ontario Police Services Act will restore fairness and respect for our police, enhance oversight, and improve governance, training, and transparency. Mr. Speaker, one of the main bones of contention in police oversight is the overreach of the Special Investigations Unit. Bill 175 gave the SIU the authority to virtually investigate any death where a police officer may have been present but not responsible for the fatality. For example, if an officer is not successful at preventing someone from committing suicide, they are automatically subject to an SIU investigation. Until the fall, the same applied if an officer administered naloxone to someone experiencing a drug overdose. Our government's legislation is intended to enhance police oversight and make changes to the SIU so that it can be more effective as a large part of this. If you speak to any police officer, you will hear that in order for them to be effective in their jobs, public trust in police is of utmost importance. Having an effective oversight process is key to establishing trust between officers and their communities. The current oversight system is old. It's broken. It's slow. It currently does not work for either the police or for the public. The previous government, through their legislation, didn't even pay lip service to the principle of fairness and due process for our officers. Bill 68 will address concerns about SIU investigations taking too long by reducing duplication and better focus the mandate of the SIU. Fair and effective police oversight will result in a stronger community safety partnership between the government, the police, and the public. If passed, Bill 68 would establish the Special Investigations Unit as a fully independent provincial agency administered by the Attorney General. As always, Mr. Speaker, there are cases where thorough investigations are needed, especially when it comes to police officer misconduct. Last May, Hamilton Police Detective Inspector Craig Ruthowski was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison for a whole slew of charges relating to his misconduct as an officer, including bribery, breach of trust, and multiple drug trafficking offences. Ruthowski had been suspended by the Hamilton Police Service back in 2012, but he was only able to be suspended with pay as mandated by the Police Services Act. In fact, Detective Inspector Ruthowski actually made the Sunshine List 3 times while on suspension. He earned $104,000 in 2017, $107,000 in 2015, and $109,000 in 2012 while he was suspended. Of course, this isn't the only time the issue of police conduct has come up in various ways in recent years in Hamilton. Police officers are human. It's unfortunate, but misconduct does happen. What's important to ensuring public confidence, however, is what happens when it does. Media stories around another officer, David Dowell, who earned more than $500,000 over 4 years while suspended with 14 charges of misconduct, were prominent during 2014. Dowell ended up retiring before the investigation into him concluded, evading justice. This prompted former Hamilton Police Chief Glenn DeCare to call for change. DeCare wrote a white paper in 2014 that called for the province to give police chiefs discretionary ability to suspend officers without pay for serious infractions. Back to the Ruthowski case. I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, while I was a reporter and while I was on City Council in Hamilton, I heard from many residents who were outraged that an officer that was convicted of corruption charges was being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars while on suspension. Under the current Police Services Act, the Hamilton Police Service was only able to stop his pay and begin the officer's firing process after he was sentenced. The Comprehensive Ontario Policing Services Act gives chiefs the discretion they need. This act will allow police chiefs to suspend an officer without pay in an interim measure under certain circumstances and subject to an appeal to an independent adjudication. This includes when an officer is charged with a serious offence and is being investigated. The Liberal system of police oversight did not work for the police, and it certainly did not work for the public. In short, the Comprehensive Ontario Police Services Act will prevent the $500,000 sums of taxpayer money being paid out in the two Hamilton cases that I cited, the Dole case in 2014 and the Ruthowski case in 2018. Mr. Speaker, how public complaints are handled is another important part of instilling public confidence in our fine women and men in uniform. Currently, public complaints against officers are handled by the Office of the Independent Police Review Director. If Bill 68 is passed, the OIPRD would become independent, and it would be renamed Law Enforcement Complaints Agency. As recommended by Justice Tulloch, this would help the public better understand the functions of the agency. One of the issues with the Liberals' Bill 175 was that if you called 911, it wasn't always guaranteed that a police officer would show up at your front door because certain police services were forced to be privatized. If passed, Bill 68 will guarantee that when Ontarians call 911, they can count on a police officer to show up. The legislation defines that policing functions are either law enforcement, emergency response, or maintaining public peace, and these functions require the exercise of the powers of a peace officer or a police officer. This puts an end to the Liberal government's policy of outsourcing services to non-police entities. Mr. Speaker, I mentioned earlier that this Act will make amendments to a couple of acts. Bill 68 will make improvements to the Coroner's Act, granting coroners powers to get earlier access to records when determining whether there is a reason to believe an investigation into a person's death is necessary. In addition, coroners will be required to either offer seized items to the police for safekeeping or keep those items safe themselves if the police do not accept them. Coroners will also be required to return items to those they were seized from upon the conclusion of an investigation or inquest. The Comprehensive Ontario Police Services Act also makes amendments to the Mandatory Blood Testing Act to better support and provide peace of mind to victims of crime, first responders, and others at risk of coming in contact with foreign bodily substances of other people. Now, there are certain aspects of Bill 175 that we are keeping intact. The Missing Persons Act 2018 and the Forensic Laboratories Act 2018 will come into effect without change. Provisions from the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan with respect to mandating municipalities to publish and adopt these plans already came into effect this year on January 1st. First Nations policing provisions are also remaining unchanged. Our government is committed to providing First Nations with options to require a First Nation Police Service Board or a First Nation OPP board to oversee the delivery of policing in their community. Mr. Speaker, on December 31st last year, Justice Michael Tulloch issued a 300-page report on carding and street checks. Our government appreciates the work Justice Tulloch has done on this matter and are taking the time needed to properly review and assess his recommendations, most of which can be implemented through regulatory changes. Mr. Speaker, our police officers deserve our gratitude and respect, not suspension and scorn, as evident from the Liberals' Safer Ontario Act last year. That is why our government is providing our men and women in blue the tools, the resources, and the support they need to do their jobs. Bill 175 didn't even pay lip service to the principle of fairness or due process for officers. Not only was this unfair, it was disrespectful to the police officers who risked their lives to keep us safe. That's why we are taking the steps needed to ensure there can once again be a positive relationship between the police and the public. Thank you.